We spoke to John Kennedy, and he tells us that he wants to do three things. He wants to secure jobs, jobs, and jobs.
Now, these girls say they're not going to dance with me, but I'm a juju for you, Chris. Okay, well, come on, juju for me.
Let me let you listen to something else. Do you hear that?
I do hear that. That sounds like dinner to me.
That sounds like dinner for the next week.
That might be the next step. If the Department of Justice decides not to press charges against these two officers, those files will be handed over to Attorney General Jeff Landry's office. He can pursue criminal charges under state law. I've been out here watching them kind of navigate and see how they're going to be handling this, and it seems like they're just trying to see if it's going to die out. You know what's so great about this? It's interchangeable. Okay. So you can even make this out of a pasta, but because we're on the go, we're just going to put it on some bread. They've been working around the clock trying to gut out their cars, gut out their homes, all from those several feet of water. Thankfully, a 6-year-old boy didn't think twice about jumping in to save two of his little cousins who appeared to have drowned in the swimming pool Sunday night. Tonight, that family says the fact that they're still alive is a miracle.
They were gone.
A mother's worst nightmare.
When we walked outside, we saw blue, lifeless corpses laying on our pool patio.
Jeannie Kelly says a group of kids were playing outside her West Monroe home when she heard a scream. She ran outside and thought her sons Isaac and Caden drowned. 6-year-old Branson Lee says he did what he had to do.
I went head first and went and picked them up out of the water.
He saw the boys floating in the pool, jumped in to save them, got them up on the concrete. Kelly says she and her husband started CPR, saving the twins before it was too late. Kelly says all she could do was pray.
Don't bring my boys back to me to suffer in life without the life that they so obviously have. So full of energy. And he did.
Moments later, they were much like this. Happy and alive.
I was happy the twins were still alive because that didn't happen to them.
I was blown away by God's goodness. That was not the outcome I expected when I first saw them.
She says God answered her prayers, but he had a little help.
My nephew pulled them out of the pool, and he can't even swim. So it's amazing that they landed in the shallow end.
The twins' mom says doctors told her if it wasn't for them grabbing them out of the water, when they did, they would have died. Sterling Crutcher is stationed at the Barksdale Air Force Base in Bossier City. Today makes his second year putting on this uniform.
I joined to serve, and I joined because my grandfather inspired me to want to serve for something greater.
Crutcher was born a woman, but has since transitioned into a man. He says he's always defending his identity when it's attacked.
I was born in a time where awareness and speaking out, even though it may not be your cup of tea, is important.
After President Trump put out these tweets saying transgender people will not be allowed or accepted in the military, Crutcher took to Facebook.
There is a lot of support, and that honestly made me feel really good.
Things were looking good for the LGBTQ community. Just last year, the U.S. Department of Defense put out this new policy. It's allowing all transgender people to live openly and serve in the military. Captain Andrew Kulk serves on the same base. Yeah. He says a dose of diversity does the military good.
For the Air Force. The difference of who they are and where they come from actually helps us provide a diversity of thought and diversity of ideas to our mission.
On Twitter, the president says having transgender people in the military will be a burden with a disruption and tremendous medical costs.
I didn't come in saying, well, I'm trans, I'm going to get some free health care.
U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy says any citizen should have the chance to serve if they want. But when it comes to the transgender community, he says enlisting should come with a price.
I don't think the federal taxpayer should be on the hook for transition cost. And if somebody needs surgery and it's going to affect their combat readiness for an extended period of time, that should be known on the front end.
A research organization called the RAND Corporation put out a study that shows every year between 29 and 129 active service members will get transition-related care that could affect their ability to deploy.
When we have deployments here, we have 2 rotations. I can get on one of those rotations and make sure that my transition does not interfere with the military, and it doesn't.
Crutcher says when he puts the final touches on his uniform and walks out the door, nothing stands in the way of protecting America. Gwendolyn Ducree, KNOE 8 News.